I hear it all the time. Man, them lures are meant to catch the fishermen, not the fish. Cut that out. We're not saying that no more. The colors and the lures are meant to catch the fish. There's a reason why lure companies do design different lures, and we're gonna figure that out today. So y'all quit that. The lures are for the fish to eat, couillons. Hi everyone, and welcome to the Cajun Lures YouTube channel. And today, our video is gonna be about a very controversial topic, but a very important topic. Does lure color matter? I may be a little biased because I make fishing lures for a living. And yes, when you go to a store, or you're looking or you're browsing online, at Tackle, we have colors on colors on colors. But does it matter? Does it matter to us? No, but it matters to the fish. Do they want to eat it? So, the best way to test that out is to do a little experiment. See what the bass see. It doesn't matter what we see, it's how the fish see it. So let's get to it. The best way to figure this out is to come up with an experiment. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a test in clear water and stained water, right? And we're gonna do 4 different colors, and we're gonna do June bug, green pumpkin, red night, and then black and blue. Those are 4 common colors that you're gonna fish with over time in your angling career. And now we're gonna see how well we could see those lures in the clear water and the stained water, and kind of what happens when we put those lures in the water. Another thing we're gonna add to this experiment is we're gonna test the clear water and stained water with those 4 different colors in direct sunlight. But then as a second part of it, we're gonna test in the shade and how each lure color looks different in clear and stained water with sunlight or shade. So we've got a clear Pyrex bowl on top of a whiteboard to kind of reflect some sunlight from underneath. And we're also starting out by putting these in direct sunlight outside, so it's a true experiment. First up, we're going to have green pumpkin. So here's what we see of the lure itself. Now this is what we see in the water when light starts refracting it. You can see the green pumpkin color starts coming out more and the black flakes become apparent. LA 420 color. It's black on the top. You can see the red flakes visible to us. Now in the water, those red flakes really pop out even more, and the black color and the green kind of seem more vibrant. Now here's black and blue. This is how we see it in the sunlight. You can see it's black body, blue flakes. In the clear water, those blue flakes really pop out even more. Okay, now June bug. Purple with green flakes. This is how we see it. In the water, that purple is a lot more vibrant, and those green flakes really pop out even more. Alright, now for the stained water variable. I just straight up took some dirt out the backyard, put it in the water to represent sediment, and stirred it up. Alright, let's check out green pumpkin in stained water with sunlight. As you can see, water's dirtier. It's kind of harder to make out that green. We can still see that little bit of vibrance in the green, but ultimately the lower profile is a little bit harder to see. Alright, LA 420 in the stained water with sunlight. This is what we see. And as you can see in the stained water, we got the profile of the lure. You can see the profile pretty well. The black helps, but the red flakes do dissipate quite a bit. I had trouble focusing with the camera so I could really get the red flakes, so that should tell you how subtle they were in the stained water. Black and blue in the stained water. Here's how we see it. Now let's go to the water. And so the profile is there. The black profile helps with the coloring of the lure. And the blue flakes actually pop out a lot more to us now. And the camera can actually capture it. June bug. Now in the stained water. This is how we see it. And in the stained water, you can see the purple color actually is still vibrant. and we can see those green flakes, and those green flakes are reflecting from the sunlight even through that stained water. Now for the next part of our experiment here, we're going to repeat the same process that we just did, except this time now we're going to put the water in the shade. Alright, here's a green pumpkin. Off the bat, the shade actually brought out these red flakes that were strays in the production process. But in the water here, those red flakes actually dissipate, and the green pumpkin actually seems more vibrant. The green color is more vibrant, and the red flakes actually stick out more. LA 420 in the shade, this is how we see it. The red is more vibrant, it seems, to our naked eye. Now with the water, the red flakes do pop out a lot more, and the color does seem a bit more vibrant in the shade, which is pretty cool. I can see the green and the black now. Okay, black and blue. We see the black body, blue flakes in the water, in the shade. The black is a good clear profile, and those blue flakes seem like they're really popping out actually more than in the direct sunlight. So that's very interesting. And now Junebug. Purple body, purple color with green flakes. In the water, in the shade, the purple does seem more vibrant, and again, like black and blue, the flakes actually seem like they'll pop out more. Alright, now same thing again. Now we're going to stain up the water and see what it looks like in the shade. Okay, green pumpkin. Here we see it in the sunlight directly. Now in the stained water, it's actually kind of hard to make it out. The camera actually had a hard time focusing. I tried my best to get it, but obviously the lure is just harder to see in general. You can see some profile, but ultimately the color's lost. Okay, now LA 420 in the stained water in the shade. We could see the profile of the lure is there thanks to that black coloring, but the red flakes are actually harder to see now in the stained water. I tried to focus with the camera as best as possible, but ultimately could not see it. If I looked with my naked eye into the water, I could see it just a little bit, but still they were mostly lost. Alright, now the black and blue in the shade in stained water. Actually, the black color, the color of the bait, we could still see a profile. And the blue flakes, we could see it by the naked eye, but as you can see, I had trouble adjusting my camera to get my camera lens to really capture it. And right here I kind of did. You can see the blue flakes, they do pop out, but they are very, very subtle. They are there and you can see it by the eye, but again, the blue flakes aren't very reflective and they are a lot more subtle, so I think that light penetration starts making them go away. And lastly, we have Junebug here in the shade in stained water. As you can see here, the profile is there thanks to that purple hue and a little bit of vibrant purple. But ultimately the flakes are way more visible than black and blue, and the camera can actually capture and focus in to where we can see the flakes through the stained water. Alright, let's talk about our results now. We got our 4 different colors that we experimented with, and basically we're going to ask ourselves the question here, whether we're choosing sunlight or the shade in clear water or stained water. The question we're going to ask ourselves is basically, would I fish it based on do I think the fish would see it well? And let's go through it. First color, green pumpkin. Would the fish see it good in clear water and sunlight? I think so, absolutely. In the cloudiness, I think so as well. I find it's a little more vibrant actually in cloudy conditions than it was in the sunlight. Stained water, this was actually interesting results. Would I fish green pumpkin in stained water? I mean, slightly stained probably, but like regular stain, a little muddy. In sunlight, no, I wouldn't. I don't think I would. And especially not in cloudy weather, because that sunlight, if it basically didn't show up with the sunlight, it won't really show up without it. So yes in the clear water, no in the stained water for green pumpkin. In the sunlight, would I fish it? Well, I think it's a little bright for direct clear water, especially in sunlight. But in general, would the fish see it? Yes. So I'll give it a check, but I don't know if it'd be my go-to. Now, would I fish it in clear water in cloudy conditions? I think so, because in the cloudy conditions, it really, you know, the red flakes were more vibrant and the body kind of toned off a little bit, and I really like that. So I definitely would fish in cloudy conditions. Now this was also the results for Red Knight was very interesting for the stain water. So in regular stain water, for me in my mind, if it's slightly stained with sunlight, I think I would fish it. But in the stain water that we experimented with today, I honestly, it's kind of a toss-up because all you really were left for was just the black color from the lure, and the red flakes dissipated. So would the fish see it? I think if they were close enough. But would they see it from far away? I don't know. But in general, I'm just gonna give it an X. So, and now in the cloudy conditions, well, I didn't really like it myself in the sunlight, much less the cloudy, so I have to give it an X. Now again, we're talking clear water and stain water. We have crystal clear and the level of stain water that we experimented with, that we showed you. There's so many different levels of clarity of water in between this. So think about that. Don't take this directly from me. Black and blue. Would I fish it in sunlight and clear water? I know some people do. I know guys that fish with and they constantly love black and blue. I would. The fisher definitely would see it. I guess I would, for sure. Now, would I fish it on a cloudy day? Absolutely. I've always fished black and blue on cloudy days, and today's experiment really showed me why. Clear water especially. Now, the interesting result, when we got to the stain water with black and blue, with the sunlight, we could still see the black and blue. The flakes did pop out and we could see them to our eye, and they did show through a lot more than Green Pumpkin and Red Knight for sure. So do I think the fish would see it in stained water? Yes, I do, especially on a sunny day. And on a cloudy day, it was a little bit harder to see it in the stained water. But you can see it. The flakes were a little bit more faint, but at least the profile of the black body was there, the black coloring in black and blue. So I do think the fish would kind of hone in on that, even if they get a little bit of that flake popping out at them. So black and blue is a good color, clear and stained, cloudy and sunny day. June bug. I was very surprised at the results with June bug, and I think actually after going through this experiment, I think I'm gonna add June bug in my tackle box a lot more often now. So, but let's talk about it. So clear water on a sunny day with June bug. Would I fish it and would the fish see it? Absolutely. It seems a little bit vibrant for a clear water sunny day, so I don't necessarily know if I would always go with it, but the fish will see it. Ultimately, they would be able to see it and hone in on it. Clear water on a cloudy day, absolutely. Even on a cloudy day, that purple was really vibrant. The purple body was really vibrant, and the green flakes really popped through. And so definitely on a cloudy day in clear water for sure. Now in stain water, this is why the results were very interesting for me. Common colors that I know work well in like the Atchafalaya Basin and such is June bug. And clear and stained water depending where you're fishing in those regions, but mostly kind of stained water. Well, this proved me today. So stained water, even the water that we had was fairly dirty, but stained water on a sunny day, you can actually see the color. Now the purple kind of faded away, but ultimately it kept that profile of the crawfish, but we could definitely see the flakes popping through, and that little bit of reflectiveness of those flakes, and still be able to make out that they are green with that body profile. I think that's really that allows the fish to really hone in and grab their attention. And even on a cloudy day in stained water, you could still see those flakes. If I were to choose in stained water on a cloudy day, if I had to choose between black and blue, because in Green Pumpkin and Red Knight we really didn't see it, but in black and blue and June bug, if I had to choose and I was given conditions of stain water on a cloudy day, I would definitely go with June bug over black and blue. And ironically enough, I've always fished black and blue in those conditions. And from now on, I'm going with June bug just because it seems like the color pops out and it still remains a little bit more vibrant than the black and blue that I've always fished over these years. So those are the results that we got from this experiment, and I hope this video might have taught you something, you learned something new. Like I said, this is just what we went, this is our generalization of this information, and now it's up to you to take this information and put it to your own fishing game, on your body of water, where you fish, how you fish, whatever techniques you like to do, bottom, top. Basically take this information, store it in your mind, because when you're gonna encounter any situation on the water, it's good to know this and what your lure looks like in the water to the fish. So I'm Zach Dubois with Cajun Lures. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're gonna be putting out more videos and content just like this. We're gonna be experimenting with our lures, experimenting with baits. Basically, our job here is to make baits that help you catch fish. So doing things like this, that's what we have to do. Till next time, subscribe to our channel.